Yo, welcome back to another episode of Timmy Mon Duel Links. In this video, we're going to do a review of the Clash of Wings mini box. We're going to look for a deck that can take down the Spellbook deck. But before we get into the review, make sure you check out my sponsors, YGOsingles.com. You know, they have the best prices for all the latest singles. If you play the TCG, make sure you check them out. They've got good prices on all of the latest cards. And if you use the discount code TimmyMon, you get 5% off all of your purchases. And that directly helps me out to continue to do what I love to do. That's to bring you YouTube content. So we're going to dive straight into it. Starting with the foils, the ultra rares. Elector, Sovereign of Birds. If your opponent controls 2 or more face-up monsters of the same attribute, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, you can target one face-up card on the field. That target's effects are negated during this turn. There can only be one face-up Elector, Sovereign of Birds on the field. This card's pretty crap. I hope this isn't the ultra rare you're getting. I don't like it. I think it's rubbish. I don't really see how it would be good. Maybe if you've versed a lot of like mono type decks and you need 2400 attack. It's just like a inherent summon, a big inherent summon, I guess. Yeah, it's not. It won't help any of your engines at all. Yeah, that being said, I'll probably skip this if I was a free-to-play player. Widespread Ruin. When your opponent declares an attack, destroy the attack position monster with the highest attack. So this card has a lot of sentimental value to me. When I was young, I couldn't afford these cards because they were $25, $30 a piece. I was using cards like Sekirotsu Armor, which got owned by Cyber Phoenix. This card, I think it's too slow for the current format we have, but it's a card that's nice to have. If we do have a trap heavy format, this card's probably the trap that you want to have. You can play around this card by switching the monster you don't want to die to defense position. So yeah, it promotes good play. So this is a card that if you're willing to spend more time to open up a few extra packs, this card I would consider to go for. And beat Bladesman for Hire. This is the best, probably the best card in this set. So all of the For Hire cards, they have the effect that you can summon another For Hire from your hand, and then they have additional effects depending on the card. This card lets you search for any other For Hire card from your deck. So you summon another one and then you can search another one. It's a new card even for the TCG. It just came out in the last box. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. So this would be the chase card for the deck. I think this deck, the For Hire deck, is a deck that can compete against all of the top decks. So yeah, this is something I would want to invest in. The next card, Mecha Phantom Beast Megaraptor. When a token is special summoned to your side of the field, special summon one Mecha Phantom Beast token. You can only use the effect of Megaraptor once per turn. This card level increased by a total of all Mecha Phantom Beast tokens you control. While you control a token, this card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. You can tribute one to add one Mecha Phantom Beast monster from your deck to your hand. So this is a Stratos for the Mecha Phantom Beast cards. At the moment, I think the Mecha Phantom Beast archetype is not good enough to be competitive. But again, this could be a good card for the future. If we have XYZs, if we have synchros, this can alter the level of your monster. Also, this is a Stratos, so you know, a searcher, it can search out all of your other Mecha Phantom Beast cards. So if you want to invest in the future, maybe you want to pick up 3 of these as well. Black Falcon, this card, when this card declares an attack, you can special summon a token. The level is increased by all levels of Mecha Phantom Beast tokens, like all of them. While you control a token, this card cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects, like all of them. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can tribute one token, target one monster on the your opponent controls, change that to face-up defense position. So something that's cool about Mecha Phantom Beast cards is it doesn't have to be a Phantom Beast, Mecha Phantom Beast token that you tribute. So you can use these to tribute off Fire of Doomsay's tokens to trigger their effects. So that's a pretty cool cool interaction. Again, Mecha Phantom Beast, they're not good at the moment. They might be better later. Blowback Dragon, this one's for the casual player. Once per turn, you can target one card, toss a coin. If two out of three of them are heads, then it destroys it. A Silent Psychic Wizard. After the nerfs, Psychics might have a chance to come back, and this is a neat addition to the Psychic deck. When this card is normal summoned, you can target one Psychic monster in your opponent's graveyard, banish that. Oh, sorry, in your graveyard, not your opponent's. If this card was sent from the field to the graveyard, special summon that banished monster. So it becomes a floater. So floaters are always good, and it's 1900 attack, so it's pretty good. And now that there are no econs in the top decks, it's harder to switch a monster to defense just to run over it. So it might be harder for the top decks to deal with than they think. Wind Up Juggler. Wind Ups are really good in the TCG, or they were, but this is not one of the good Wind Ups. After damage calculation, if this card battled an opponent's monster, you can destroy that monster. This effect can only be used once while face up on the field. So it just seems like this is just for a stun deck, a control deck. It's got 1700 attack, so it's pretty big, and yeah, it's a removal. Mistaken Acquisition. This card says if your opponent has more total cards in their hand and on their side of the field than you do, target one face-up card on the field. Neither player can activate cards with the same name or effects for the rest of the duel, except that target. You can only activate one Mistaken Acquisition per turn. This card's pretty good in against spellbooks. You can use it on the blue boy, and the rest of their blue boys just don't work. You can chain it to Fate. The rest of their Fates won't work. I think this card is got a high potential in a side deck, but to use it in a main deck might not be. But you might not have the space to play it in a main deck, and I don't know if you want to play it in a main deck if it will affect your engine, because again, certain matchups it will be just a dead card. And this is the last of all the super rares. It's W Nebula Meteorite, and I used this card when it first came out to top my New Zealand Nationals. I came top 4, and okay, this card says change all face down monsters on the field to face up. Defense position during the end phase, change all face up light reptile monsters to face down, and then for each one that's turned face down, you get to draw a card. After that, you can special summon a level 7 or higher reptile monster from your deck. So when I was reviewing this in the Twitch chat, someone suggested to use this with aliens. That might be something cool, but in the TCG, this was only really used with the Worm deck, where they had Zex and Yagan. So Zex sends Yagan to the grave, and Yagan brings itself back when you control Zex. And then when in defense position, face down defense, and when it's flip face up, it's got a flip effect to bounce a monster on the field. So it turns this Meteorite into an interrupt. But in the game state that we have at the moment, this is just purely for card advantage. You could use it with Kateros to search, and then it sets it back down so you can search again while drawing a card at the end phase. But it can't really interrupt. There are no good worms that interrupt at the moment. So that's it for all of the foils, and the only really good card from the foils, I would say, are Mistaken Acquisition and Beat Bladesman for Hire. So if I was a free-to-play player, what I would do is I would just go for 3 Beat for Hires and skip the rest of the cards. Anything else I get is just a bonus, but Beat Bladesman for Hire is the card that I want. And I guess, yeah, there's nothing else in this set that I want to talk about, so I'll quickly go through the other for hire cards. This for hire card, it's got the same effect. You can special summon another for hire from your hand. But when this is on the field while you special summon a monster, you can target a face-up card and destroy it. And then the next one, Recon, it's the same, except you can target a set card. So this card would be good against Sylvans, but now Sylvans is nerfed, it's not that important. But yeah, this card can, so this one does face-ups, this one does face-downs. So each of these are generating you card advantage. Let's have a look at the next for hire card. This one, you can target a for hire in your graveyard and add it to your hand, so it helps you to recycle. And another good one. Helps you to recycle your cards. So Beat would be the card that you play 3 of because it searches everything, and while the other ones are in your graveyard, you can use them again and again using Seal. And then Diner for hire. This one, it says you can banish cards from your opponent's graveyard up to the number of for hire monsters you control with different names. While monsters your opponent control cannot target monsters for hire you control for attacks, except this one. So when this is on the field, they can only attack this. And when it's special summon, you can banish cards from your opponent's graveyard. So you could use this to banish all of your opponent's Red Eye zombies, or you could use this to banish your opponent's cards for their fate. So this has some utility as maybe a one-off because it's searchable through Beat. And this is one of the best cards I've seen in Duel Links for a while. If this card is special summoned, you can gain 500 attack. Yeah, okay. But the good effect is when your opponent activates a spell or a trap card, it's got a quick effect. You can discard one for hire card, negate the activation. You can only use Wiz once per turn. It's a Shein. It negates cards. Imagine if your opponent, I don't know, this negates cards. It's super busted, especially in an engine that is easy to toolbox. So like Beat can search this out. You know, this card's pretty insane. It's got 2,800 defense, so you could just have this in defense for like the rest of the game, and it could just negate a fate every turn. Yeah, crazy. This card is really good. And this is the sort of the, as I was reading through all of the for hire cards, when I came to this, I realized why the for hire deck was good. This is your win condition. So this is the for hire spell. You can target one for hire in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position. You can only activate one mayhem for hire per turn. So this is like almost a monster reborn for your for hire cards. Yeah, it's in defense, but it triggers your other for hire's effects, allowing you to search or to summon or to destroy or to gain life. This card's pretty busted, and you can play 3 of these and they're quick play. Yeah. And we have the for hire trap card. If a face-up monster for hire you control is destroyed by a battle or by opponent's card effect, you can target one of those monsters. Special summon one monster for hire from your deck whose level is lower than the original. You can only use this once per turn. So this card's also really good to tutor out all of your other cards. So let's say you have a 7. The 7 can go into any of them. The 6 can go to the rest of them. The 4 can go into the Beat, which searches the other ones. And then the Beat can go into these 2. So you can go through, they're all different levels. So it's easy to have access to have a good toolbox with the trap card. So that's it for this review. Definitely pick up the for hire cards. If you're a free-to-play player, pick it up. It's going to be such a good deck for a long time, I'd imagine, and I think the deck will only get better as we get more and more cards. How will you build this when it first comes out? I'd probably play 3 of the Beat, 2 of each of the destruction ones, maybe 2 or 3 seals, 1 Diner, 1 or 2 wizards, probably 3 spells, and 1 or 2 traps, and yeah, and then like play Cosmic Cyclones and other defensive cards like that. And I think with that you can just outgrind a lot of decks. Yeah, so that's all I have to say for this set, and yeah, make sure you check out my next video. Peace out guys, I'll see you later.